Hi guys and welcome back. This will be our last GarageBand session for term 3. This is a bonus session, so if you wanted to complete this activity and then submit or share the file with me as an addition to the two other files you're sharing for your portfolio, you could do that this week. Or if you've just already finished the others and you wish to have something else to be working on today, you can do this. So basically what we're doing, we're taking the skills that we've learned on how to work our way around GarageBand, add instruments, etc. We're going to use that to make an electronic arrangement today. So step 1 is up here. Using the normal process, I've added a drummer, and then what I've done here, I click on this and you can choose a different style, and I have chosen electronic. And then I picked one of the drummers, and this is the beat that I've settled on today. I manipulated it using the same process as previous, and this is the beat. Great. So once I got my beat happening, one of the first important things we're going to do to create a successful electronic beat is use what's called an arpeggiator. So to do that, basically what you do, you would add an instrument in the normal way, you'd add a software instrument, and then if you look down the options here, you'll see arpeggiator is one of them. Okay, so when we go to that, an arpeggiator, just to explain, is basically a synthesizer pattern whereby you simply hold down one note or one particular chord, and rather than you have to play the pattern, you simply hold down the chord or note and the keyboard does the playing for you. So let's have a look at how that works. For this one I picked bass and I picked pulse cycles. So this is what the part sounds like by itself. And to do that, all I did was hold down a single key. But you need to pay attention to what key, because if, say for example, you're holding down the note of C, you're then going to be wanting to use that note C or basing the rest of your piece around C. Okay, so let's listen to that with the drums. That should sound something like this. Great. The next thing I'm going to do for my next layer is add another arpeggio, but this one I'm not going to choose a bass arpeggio. So for this one, same process, I went into arpeggiator, but this one I picked, I think I picked basics. Yes, I did. I went to basics, but you could choose any one. You can go through all of the different ones there. You've got options for chords, just layered sounds, basics. All right, so I chose a classic analog sound. This is what that sounds like by itself. Have a listen. Very typical electronic sound. So let's have a listen to the three of those together, and that will form kind of like the basis of our whole groove, right? Here we go. Second layer. Great. So next what I've done is I've added basically a synthesizer sound, and what I've done here is I've chosen what's called a pad. A pad is basically a sound that sustains long notes to accompany a part. So what I've done here, I've added another software instrument, I've selected synthesizer, I've gone to pad, and on this particular occasion I've selected this part, luminous sweep pad. So let's have a listen to how that part sounds by itself. So it basically adds a futuristic sort of sound ringing out through the whole thing. So let's hear that with these other parts we've added so far. Cool. So one of the next elements I added, and this is optional, but it's a good thing to play around with, I happened to find a cool little sample over here in my loops where I went into world music and I stumbled upon this sound here that I'll show you. It was just a loop that worked well. It's of a Chinese instrument, and this is what it sounds like by itself. This won't always work, by the way. This worked because it was in the same key. Alright, so let's hear that with all of those layers we've got so far. Great. So now what I've done is I've created 5 different layers that are all basically just sustaining the one note, but because I'm using the arpeggiated bass and the arpeggiated chord there, what that does is that makes it sound like there's lots of movement happening in the instruments. So our final step here is to add a lead sound. So basically this is where, apart from of course layering all the sounds together, this is where paying attention to what notes you've used are really important. Okay, so if you've used a C as the basis, all right, you're going to probably start your melody here. So I made up a little melody to choose my sound. Basically what I did was I just went to synthesizer again, because we're doing electronic sounds, only this time I chose lead, because a lead part is one that's going to have like a solo, and this is what my part sounds like by itself, just so you can hear what the sound is. Cool. So now let's have a listen to all the layers together. The lead part doesn't come in until the second half, so that it gives the others a chance to be heard, and then the lead really takes over as the main melody. Have a listen. You'll see at this point that I've made most of the instruments drop out here to make it more interesting, and right at the end of this little section I've made the drums drop out just for 2 beats, and you'll hear that has the effect of briefly pausing them, and then so when they come back in it has a strong impact. So listen to this section. Listen to the drums dropping out. Cool guys, so thanks for watching. I know that was a longer video than usual, but hopefully that's given you some ideas. Remember, the key things are to create an electronic beat, use an arpeggiator, and use synthesizers to create some different layers. I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Bye for now.